What's up, guys? We're back and we are so ready to talk football. This is our favorite show of the week. Saturdays, building out a six-man. We built out a couple six-man slips. We built out a couple demon slips. We're going to break it all down for NFL Sunday. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop us a comment, show us a little bit of love, like the video. If you have any questions about picks, just drop a comment. We'll try to get back to you, do a little bit of research for you. And then if you have any plays that you're excited about, drop them in the comments. I'm going to briefly just talk about like the picks I put out for Thursday.
Cool.
So my biggest miss, including in Dynasty, was Jaden Reed. He pops off for 2 touchdowns the week before. I think it was against Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And he was on my bench. And then now we've got and I was sitting there going, like, hindsight, why didn't I play Jaden Reed when Romeo Doubs was out? Well, then he's got Detroit, which is a pass funnel, high scoring game, that ended up being like a 64-point total. He got 1 target. They just weren't looking his way at all. Josh Jacobs went absolutely nuts. So yeah, Jaden Reed was a huge miss. I took his fantasy score over 14. I had 1 slip with the first quarter field goal prop, and that didn't hit. And then I had an alternate slip for the video where I replaced that with Tucker Kraft's fantasy score. That slip ended up going 4 of 6. Tucker Kraft cashed 13 fantasy score, 13.1. David Montgomery did not get the rushing yards done. I was really confident in that, and he only went for 51. We took him for over 60.5. Jamison Williams, we took him over 3.5 receptions. He went for 5. Tim Patrick, this was the one I was most proud of. Over 24.5 receiving yards. He went for 43. He had 2 touchdowns. It's good to see him like totally bounce back, playing with maybe the top contender this year. So super stoked for Tim Patrick. But yeah, Jaden Reed busted us, man. But Josh Jacobs, we took him over 15 fantasy score. He went for 24.6 and he had 1 touchdown called back. He almost had a 4 touchdown game.
That's so crazy.
I was just crying because I traded him away in Dynasty last year, beginning of this year. But anyways, this is our favorite time of the week, guys. So let's talk about the plays that we're going to be getting into. Before we do, we just want to shout out our partners over at Underdog, Better, and Parlay Play. They're our featured partners. If you use code BACKDOOR at those platforms, they're going to hook you up. Parlay Play is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $100 and a $5 promo slip to get you started. Plus, we're going to add 30 days in our premium Discord if you use our code with Parlay Play. You just got to email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. We're going to get your Discord username and your Parlay Play username from you, and they update us every morning with everybody who used our code. So we'll just confirm that you were on that list, and we'll get you in within 24 hours. Usually takes less than that. Just depends on the time of day. If you sign up tonight, we'll have you locked in tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is usually when they send it. And then for Better, $200 deposit match plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. And then Underdog, up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. There is all the information down below if you want to sign up for those platforms. And then just make sure you use code BACKDOOR when you do it, and you'll get hooked up. All right. And so also, I'll just say it at the top of the show too. We have a new price for our Discord if you're looking to join. We've worked some things out. We were able to bring the cost down quite a bit. I think it was like over a 30% drop we got, but it's down to $12.99 a month. If you guys want to come join our Discord, I'll show you more about that later. But yeah, we're pretty stoked to be able to get that price down for everybody. So here are the plays we're going to be taking. So for the regular plays, I'm going with Trey McBride. It's a little bit different on different platforms, so buckle up. This is going to be a long one, just like every Saturday. But Trey McBride on Parlay Play, they don't have his receptions, which is what I really want, but I like this 69.5 receiving yards. I'm comfortable taking that. We're getting a fat multiplier for that too, 1.85x. And then Brock Bowers, taking his receiving yards anywhere in this range I'm comfortable with, but 71.5, getting another fat multiplier, 1.83x. And then Saquon Barkley, we're getting a discount on his rushing yards line on Parlay Play, 109.5. Just walk through these real quick. I added my NBA plays to this slip because I wanted to make a 5-man, but on better, I'm getting Saquon Barkley over 112.5 rushing yards, taking that over. Brock Bowers, 74.5 receiving yards. I told you I'm comfortable anywhere in that range. Taking that for more. And then Trey McBride over 6.5 receptions. And then underdog, they've got the Trey McBride receptions, 6.5. Brock Bowers over 74.5 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley over 113.5 rushing yards. Sorry, it's a little bit complicated today. So for my regular slip, so prize picks, I'm getting Trey McBride over 6.5 receptions, Brock Bowers over 75.5 receiving yards, Saquon Barkley over 112.5 rushing yards. And I got a couple more in here. I can talk about them later. Do you want me to do my demon slip now, or you want to get into your regular plays first?
Go ahead and do it.
Cool. Well, if you guys are looking to fill out the 6-man with my regular plays, I'm not going to break these down in detail. Well, some of them I will, actually. These will be covered because these are some of the demons we took also. But for the rest of my regular 6-man, I'm going Rachaad White over 34.5 rushing yards, Jerry Jeudy over 69.5 receiving yards, and Tyrone Tracy over 13.5 receiving yards. That was just to fill out that into a 6-man. And then for my demon play, my demon slip, going Chad Ryland, the field goal kicker for the Cardinals, over 1.5 field goals made. That's a demon today. And so Jordy and I are both going to roll the dice on that. Rachaad White rushing yards, I'm taking that demon over 49.5. Jerry Jeudy over 5.5 receptions, demon. Saquon Barkley, I'm just running with these rushing yards, 119.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to get it done versus Carolina. So taking that demon. And then Trey McBride over 7.5 receptions, and then Brock Bowers over 89.5 receiving yards. All right, Jordy.
All right. Yeah. So for my regular slip, I'm taking Nick Chubb over 40.5 rushing yards. This got bumped on me right before the video. It was at 38.5. I couldn't even get it locked in at 38.5 either. So I'm taking it at 40.5. Still like it. I'm taking the Tyrone Tracy receiving yards at 13.5. I've been kind of riding out this play, and it's been awesome, and I'll explain why. And I'm taking TJ Hawkinson at 5.5 receiving targets. On all the other platforms, I'm actually able to find these same lines. The only one that I'm not getting is Tyrone Tracy's receiving yards. So we're getting Chubb at 39.5 rushing yards, anywhere in that 38 to 40.5 rushing yard range. I love getting Hawkinson at 5.5 receiving targets. And then for Tracy, if you can't get his receiving yards on some of these platforms, I like Pat Freiermuth over 30.5 receiving yards. So I'll explain that, but I'm putting that in my demon slip. So I'm power playing my demon slip, just shooting for it. I'm getting a 131x multiplier on this, so it hit for 1310. Taking TJ Hawkinson over 4.5 receptions, Nick Chubb over 49.5 rushing yards, Pat Freiermuth over 39.5 receiving yards, Trey McBride, love that play too, 7.5 receptions, Jerry Jeudy 5.5 receptions, and I'm taking the Chad Ryland 1.5 field goals over. So feeling good about all of those for sure. And yeah, I think that covers it.
All right, well, let's start breaking it down. I'm going to start with Trey McBride here. The dude has been balling. So yeah, back-to-back games with 12 receptions, not targets, receptions. One of those was against Seattle, who he's playing again. We took his demon last week against Minnesota, and part of the reason we loved it was because, now this is a home game, but I guess I can't just show away games, but the dude has been balling on the road, going for 8 or more receptions in like 4 straight games on the road. So that's why that was on our radar, and we took his receptions last Sunday, and we took the receptions demon, and he cashed it. He cashed his receptions demon in the first half last week. So he has just absolutely emerged. He's the number 1 target in Arizona by far. So the matchup against Seattle is not scary at all. 19th in receptions allowed to tight ends. Let's take a look at this over under to see what this game should be looking like. It should be fireworks. This is a divisional game. This is a heated rivalry, and this has serious playoff implications because Seattle has the tiebreaker, and I believe Arizona, like, they're not tied anyways, but Arizona really needs this win. Playing in Arizona, 44.5 point over under. Cardinals favored by 2.5. So yeah, I'm loving this play. not a whole lot needs to be said, really. Like, he is going to get fed. Like, as long as he's healthy, which he is, yeah, I don't think there's anything really of concern with injuries. But there might be something in here. Nope. Cardinals got to show up. This is going to be a good game. We also have Kenneth Walker questionable, so keep an eye out for any Zach Charbonnet props right now. Prize Picks only has his touchdown demon, which I'm probably going to throw into a slip. It's just at 0.5, but there's a good chance that he's starting without Kenneth Walker tomorrow. So anyways, moving on, I've got, for my 3 plays, I'm going to break down the daily grind odds, but not going to go through all the demons because they don't cover those higher lines anyways, but they love it, just about everything for Trey McBride. They love his fantasy score the best, over 14.5, 52.26% odds to hit the over. And every other platform has him at 15 plus. The receptions are the second best at 6.5, 50.73% odds to hit the over, minus 121. And obviously we can't cover, the demon play, but they actually don't like his receiving yards. They have that slightly favored to go under 68.5. But I'm still comfortable. I think he's going to go over that. I imagine he's going to get fed. They don't like those receiving yards, but they are favoring his targets. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot, but they've got the over just a little bit higher, over 9. So last week when he cashed that in the first half, he went perfect too. I think he went like 9 for 9 or something like that. I think he had a perfect game. But anyways, loving that play. Moving on, Rachaad White. I like him to go, this is the demon play, but I'll just walk through this real quick. We have Bucky Irving had a massive game. He's overtaken the top spot. He's clearly the RB1, but it's not showing us on Outlier, but he's actually questionable. Yeah, it is. So he's questionable for this game. He got banged up at the end of last game, and they still haven't even listed if he's probable. So I think there's a real chance he misses. But even with Bucky Irving having a monster game last week, it was Carolina, so it was the softest matchup you could ask for. But Rachaad White still ran for 76 yards in that game, while Bucky went for, I think, like 160 yards. So if he gets an expanded workload because of any sort of, even if he's like, if Bucky plays, there's still a chance that he doesn't get the snaps that he normally does. So I like Rachaad White to go over this, having my regular slip at 34.5, but I also took the demon play at 49.5. So yeah, feeling good about this. 11th in rushing yards allowed, but 16th to running backs. So I'm feeling comfortable with this. It's Las Vegas. I think that they'll be able to get this done. And if Bucky is out, we can expect Sean Tucker and Rachaad White to pick up the slack. But I think Rachaad White will be leading among those two. All right, moving on. Jerry Jeudy. We're taking his receptions for the demon. So I'll just show you that real quick. I mean, he's cleared this in 4 straight games, and one of which was against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. So the dude is just absolutely red hot right now. He went for 9 last week for like 230 yards. So that's part of the reason, with the demon picks, we're just trying to see, like, it's supposed to be a longer shot anyways. That's why they're giving you a higher multiplier. But yeah, his regular line is at 5. So they think, they think that's a fair line. And then we're just taking the demon play at 5.5. So he just needs one more catch. We're pretty confident he's going to get this done. Dude is just like on his way up right now. Okay, Brock Bowers. So, man, what a game he had against Kansas City last week, which is a really tough matchup. He went for 140 yards, and a lot of that was in the second half. He had a relatively slow start and then just started cooking. So I think he's going to absolutely be able to get this done. 30th in receiving yards allowed to tight ends. We know everything through the air is a soft matchup against Tampa Bay. So I feel great about Brock Bowers, also the number 1 target in that offense, getting this done. Let's take a look at the over-under. 46.5 point over-under. Tampa Bay favored by 6.5, so the Raiders are probably going to be playing from behind, and they're playing in Tampa Bay. Let me just take a look here. Let's see how he's been on the road. Solid. So, yeah, so his last 2 games on the road against Miami, really tough matchup, 126 yards, and then Kansas City, tough matchup, 140 yards. I just so confident in this play, very comfortable with it. If we take a look here, Daily Grind likes his receptions over 7 the most, 51.92% odds to hit the over, minus 125. They don't like the receiving yards. I don't get that. Like I'm more confident in, let me just look at the receptions. So 20th in receptions allowed to tight ends. I mean, he did go for 10, so I get it, but like on 10 catches, he went for 140 yards against Kansas City. So I'm personally more comfortable taking the receiving yards than the receptions, but we just like to show you guys everything that Daily Grind is saying too. They also like his targets over 10.5. So this one's not one we have to think too hard about. All right, Saquon Barkley. Obviously he's capable of dominating. Like, he's the RB1 for fantasy for sure. But yeah, his line in that 112 range to 115, whatever the regular line is you're looking at, I'm totally comfortable with him getting that done. He just put up 107 against Baltimore, which is, top 5 against the running backs. Like, and now he's playing Carolina, who's 32nd in rushing yards allowed to running backs. So Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, they both put up monster games. That was against Carolina last week. So I'm super confident that he's going to be able to get this done. Kenneth Gainwell actually wasn't very involved last week. So I'm not too concerned about them getting such a huge lead that they just pull Barkley from the game. I think that they're going to, Carolina, it's like they're going to have a tough time because Philly's defense is playing really good. They've really cleaned things up. But I also, have to recognize that the Panthers have been putting it together and they're looking better and better each week. So I'm going to be looking at some Adam Thielen and some David Moore receiving yards and receptions, not covering it in this video, but those are on my radar too. But I think that Carolina will be able to keep this competitive enough to where they're not going to be benching guys, in my opinion. So 32nd in rushing yards. I'm taking that demon play as well. I think that was just at 119. Let me just double check here. 119.5. I think he's totally going to be able to get this done. Against LA, he put up 255 rushing yards. And then the week before that against Washington, 146 yards. He's cleared this line 5 out of his last 10 games. And then he almost did it against Baltimore. Really tough matchup. So I'm all over this play. I think he's going to have another monster day. All right. And then this Chad Ryland field goal prop that we're taking, that is a demon play. I like him to be able to get this done. He's cleared this 6 out of his last 10 games. Let's look at all of 2024. Okay, so some of that was from last year. So that's right. So Prater got injured and then he took over. So he's cleared this 6 out of 8 games in 2024, 9th in field goals allowed. But we know that he's going to be playing indoors. And this is supposed to be a relatively high scoring game. So I just think you got to take a chance on this if it's a demon, especially. And then what did it say? He had like 5 in the last game. Yeah, 5 against Minnesota. Ended up losing that game at the very end. That was really unfortunate. But yeah, I'm super confident in this play. The last thing I wanted to look at was this Philly over under, since there is definitely going to be a chance of blowout against Carolina. They're expecting a blowout. 45.5 point over under. Philly favored by 13.5, playing in Philly. But I still think that he's going to be able to get this done. So go with your gut. If you're too worried about the blowout, you can just fade it. Let's see. Daily Grind likes him to go over that 112.5 line. They have it at a 51.19% odds to hit the over, minus 123. And so this one is pretty simple. I'm just absolutely going to throw this in the slip and play the demon as well. If you guys want to check out Outlier, you can try this app out for free. It's awesome. Like, they cover everything. You can cover me go to a different guy here. So Barkley, you can look at all of these different statistical categories, like first quarter, first half receiving yards, regular receptions, longest reception. They've got you covered on everything here. And then you can take players in and out of the equation if you know a guy is going to be out. They also cover injury reports, matchups. They give you this insights tab that shows you plays that they like, and they'll tell you why they like it, and then they'll point you in the direction of where they're finding that play. You can just click the button and go straight to that platform. So it's pretty sweet. You don't have to put in a code. Just go through the link below for Outlier, and they're going to let you try this out for a week for free. So that's going to cover all of my plays, and I'm going to pass it over to Jordy.
All right. Yeah. So this is going to be pretty easy because some of those he already covered. I'm tailing him on some of these. So the ones he did cover, I'll just skip over those. But to get started, I like this Nick Chubb over 40.5 rushing yards. It's still showing me this line at 38.5, but I'll just kind of let you see here. So this is a tough matchup against Pittsburgh, but they just played. Granted, that was a snow game. This game, it's going to be cold, but there's no like wintry mix or anything. They're in Pittsburgh. We're not in Cleveland this time. Last time he played them, which was that crazy snowball game, it was he went for 59 rushing yards. So I like this. I think Nick Chubb's slowly playing himself into shape here. That Denver game, obviously Denver's very tough. They were behind. They were gunning for the fences with the passing. We all know what kind of a crazy game Judy had. So yeah, he really didn't get much of an opportunity there to run the ball too much in Denver. Let's see how many rushing attempts he actually had. So he had 9 rushing attempts versus in Pittsburgh he had 20. So, you know, last season, if you've seen like Nick Chubb going for 20 attempts, he was probably going for like almost 100 yards. You can see here last year, 18 attempts, he went for 106, 10 attempts here, 64. So he's eventually going to get himself into that playing shape. But in both matchups here, he's hit this in the head-to-heads in recent times. So last year, he hit this. Pittsburgh won that game, but he went for 10 rushing attempts. He had 64 yards. So obviously their defense is a lot better this year. 6th in rushing yards allowed, giving up 79.1 a game. 4th overall in rushing yards. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but I believe in Nick Chubb. I think he can get this done. And I'm even comfortable bumping this all the way up to that 49.5 because he's hit this twice again against them with that line. So yeah, I don't mind this line or that demon prop at all. So at 40.5, I'm game. I'm taking this one. Next up, here, I'll show you so they liked this at 38.5 at a minus 125. They're still not bumping it to 40.5 yet. So we'll see what that line ends up going to. They'll probably favor it under, probably. That's just how it goes when they bump it like that. But next up, I got Tyron Tracy over 13.5 receiving yards. You know, this game, this really only applies to these last 2 games. And he, like overall, like the guy, I've talked about it a million times, that this guy's a converted wide receiver. He's got great receiving hands. Like the dude is a monster at receiving the ball. He's just not gotten the opportunities yet. Now he's getting the opportunities. The last 2 games, I've taken this play twice and he's hitting it twice. Drew Lock loves to target running backs, so I love this play. Malik Neighbors is questionable. Even if he does play, they're probably going to just be careful with him. He's got that hip injury still lingering, so I think Tracy's game for this. 28th in receiving yards allowed, 12th in receiving yards allowed to running back, so I love this play. I think Tracy, until they bump this up to like 19.5, I think this is just a smash play no matter what. Even at that, I'm probably still taking it. So this is going to keep going up and up, but 13.5 is stupid low. So loving this play to go over. You know, he's climbing the target share. Theo Johnson's on injury reserve now, so they don't have like they got Daniel Bellinger, who's okay, but I think with Theo going down too, I think that's just going to open up more opportunities for Tracy. So, and also, if you watch these games, there's so many receiving opportunities for Tracy where he's just wide open in the flat and they're just not seeing him. So he could be going way, way over this line. He already is. He's doubling this line, if not more, but I think it's just going to keep getting better and better for him. So love this line at 13.5. Taking this for sure. If we go ahead and type this in, let's see what they got him sitting at for the receiving yards. So they do not like the receiving yards to go over. I don't really care. I'm taking it over for sure. Next up, I've got TJ Hawkinson. Let's pull him up really quick. So I like TJ Hawkinson's targets to go over 5.5. It's a minus 128 to go over. If we look at the receptions allowed in Atlanta, 28th allowed, 8th to tight ends. But Hawkinson, the last time he played them, he went for 7 receptions on 12 targets. So, you know, I think he's slowly he's also just coming back. He's only played 5 games this year. One game he's had 8 receptions, 7 receptions. Last game against Arizona was a little tough, but he still had 6 targets in that game. So he went over this target line. So taking that demon play too, I like this to go over 4.5 receptions and the 5.5 targets. I think he's going to cash both, no problem. They're not giving us a regular reception line at all because the 3.5 reception line's a minus 137 to go over. The 4.5 is actually an EV plus play to still go over. So I love this. I like the targets at 5.5 for a regular play. I love the demon at 4.5. I think he's going to hit both of these. You know, it's going to be a fun game too. Really, like this is it's a good game. It's an important game for Atlanta. So this is going to be a very fun matchup, I think. So, I'm fully expecting Minnesota to be in the driver's seat though. They're in Minnesota. It's going to be a great game. I think Hawkinson crushes this line. If we look at, I don't think they don't have anything for the receptions, obviously, on daily grind, but they do like those targets to go over. So taking that over, that's going to cover my regular slip there. So let's see here. Yeah, so that covers all 3 of my regular plays. Got that locked in. Here's the demon slip. So the one that, let's see. So the Nick Chubb over 49.5 rushing yards. I kind of already covered that. Still like him to go over that 49.5 for that demon there. And then Pat Freiermuth. Let's go ahead and pull him up really quick. Thought I had him pulled up here, but I do not. Let's see. This won't take long. Here we go. So if we go to Pat, there we go. Okay. So in that last game that they played against Cleveland, the one we just saw, he went for 59 receiving yards in that crazy snow game. He had 4 targets for 4 receptions in that game. He's slowly getting worked into the mix more and more. He has 7 targets in Cincinnati for 6 receptions. So the dude Russell Wilson's getting him involved. This is a soft matchup, 21st in receiving yards allowed to tight ends, or 15th to tight ends, 21 overall. So the Cincinnati Bengals do not have a great defense this year, so I think this line is really comfortable at 39.5. We're getting his regular line at 30.5 over on Better and all the other platforms, but 39.5 I am totally comfortable with. And then yeah, you know, Russo kind of broke down Trey McBride, Jerry Jeudy, and Chad Ryland, so they'll have to cover those 2. But yeah, Hawkinson 4.5 receptions, Chubb 49.5 rushing yards, and Freiermuth 39.5 receiving yards. I love all of those lines, so that's going to cover it all for me today. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, go to dgfantasy.com and use code BACKDOOR to get 25% off that first purchase. Whether or not you want to lock that in for like a month or a year, they'll give you that 25% off to help you out there. So it does pay for itself. It's awesome. We love using it. So definitely recommended. And then go check out Chalkboard, another DFS platform like Prize Picks and Underdog and the rest of them. But they have a ton of alt lines and they run a bunch of specials. They have like 20 specials on the board for today. So if you guys like stuff like Taco Tuesday, you can do that stuff on the regular on Chalkboard. So a lot of fun over there. Use code BACKDOOR for 100% match up to $100 and a free play to help you cash your first slip. That's going to cover it all for me.
All right. Well, you guys might remember we've been kind of getting in on these first quarter field goal props. They're all at 0.5. Jordy put this on our radar, and they've been cashing more often than not. They didn't in that Thursday night game, but yeah, these are not official picks for the video, but we were just going to walk through these and let you guys know which ones that we are leaning towards. Obviously, Jordy and I both like this Chris Boswell, Dustin Hopkins combo here.
That's
because
probably my favorite one.
Yeah, because I mean, Boswell is just the dude. The dude has been, it's really been.
He's the highest scoring player in the NFL. So
yeah, for overall, right?
Yeah,
is that just
overall.
fantasy?
No, that's points total.
Yeah,
killing it.
So if you're gonna roll the dice on a first quarter prop, this Boswell, Dustin Hopkins combo for 1 field goal in the first quarter looks solid. Another one that I liked was this Seahawks versus Cardinals game, Rylan and Jason Myers. This one's not as juicy as that, but they are playing indoors, and this game's got a high over under. So I'll probably throw this into at least 1 slip.
I like
with
the
a lot
Moody
of these
one too. Moody and Santos.
Are they playing in Chicago?
I don't know.
Let's see. No, they're playing in San Francisco, so you shouldn't have to worry about weather. 44.5 point over under. So yeah, they're expecting, I mean, there's also a 3.5 point spread. So should be relatively close game. Let's see. You know, you could also, the thing is like Younghoe Koo has been a little bit dicey here and there, but I might take a look at that Minnesota versus Atlanta game. Let's see, because that should be indoors as well. I think they're playing in Minnesota. I already passed it, apparently.
It's in Minnesota for sure, yeah.
Yeah, 46.5 point over under, 5.5 point spread. And then, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not like a whole lot that are popping off the board. I don't want to take after what Homeboy did to us for the Raiders.
Carlson.
Yeah, Carlson. Like, I don't really want to roll the dice on that one. But yeah, honestly, like the main thing that we're looking at with these is just paying attention to weather. Although, like we saw in that snow game, they were going for the field goals. So it's basically just like usually like rainy and windy that you want to be careful of. But yeah, I mean, those are the main ones though. It's really just, yeah, those three. My two favorites are probably, yeah, the Cardinals Seahawks game and then the Pittsburgh game. But I mean, the Pittsburgh one is the top one with Boswell for sure, just because dude's been going nuts. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about these props though, we can do a little bit more research and get back to you in the comments. Just let us know if there's anyone in particular you're looking at. And then I was going to pull up Discord real quick. Yeah, so we lowered the price, like I had mentioned. It's down to $12.99. So what is that, like probably definitely less than $1 a day. It's like probably less than 75 cents a day if you guys want to come join us. But you can also use the Parlay Play promo, and you'll get 30 days included if you use code BACKDOOR. But yeah, we're looking forward to continuing to grow the Discord. Looks like some people have been posting some other wins, but we win collectively as a group. And the nice thing about the community as a resource is when a play gets on the board that anyone's excited about, they share it. Actually, I got to shout out Nod. He almost hit his Flex Friday all demon slip, I believe. Cool Ken, looks like he got a 5 of 6. And it was up here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe he posted it in a different area. Sorry, I didn't mean. I just wanted to give Nod a little bit of love, but I don't see it in the post your wins. He probably just posted it in the chat. But anyways, if you guys want to come join us, yeah, you can just go straight through Patreon and you sign up there. It manages our subscriptions. You go into the settings on Patreon, connected apps. It's in the menu bar, and then you can log in straight from there. You can also follow us on X, TikTok, and Instagram. We're just at BackdoorFS, and we have our personal accounts down below as well if you want to follow us or say, hey, what's up? Talk a little bit of sports. But guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. Good luck on your Sunday slate. We also have a massive NBA slate tomorrow too. So at some point we'll be putting out NBA picks for tomorrow. But yeah, if you've lasted this long, give us a like on the way out. We covered a lot of content, a lot of picks today. So we appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Good luck, guys.